Welcome to the Book Drop. I'm Matthew Guchenda. I work at the Marlborough Public Library over on 35 West Main Street. Open 9 to 8 Monday through Thursday and 9 to 5 Friday and Saturday. Oh, sorry, you caught me reading. If you want to read amazing books like that, you can go to the Friends of the Library book sale, which is happening on Saturday the 21st and Sunday the 22nd in the Grice Community Room. There will be no donation days this month, though. But next month, they will start again. We have a brand new book club called the Pride Book Club, which is a safe space for LGBTQIA+ people to explore narratives by and for members of their community, including a blend of nonfiction and fiction covering a wide array of genres and experiences. The first meeting is not until July, but registration opens on the 1st of this month. We have so many amazing programs this month for you to check out. On Monday the 9th from 6 to 7 and Saturday the 28th from 2 to 3, we have crafting rainbow friendship bracelets. Light snacks will be provided. On Saturday the 14th at 1, we have Demystifying Shakespeare, A Midsummer's Night Dream. This is another installment of the Demystifying series, encouraging patrons to learn Shakespeare by doing it. Volunteers will act out scenes in a beginner-friendly manner using cue scripts. On Monday the 23rd, we kick off summer reading at the library. This year's theme is Level Up at the Library, and we have a fun-filled summer planned for all ages. Sign up on Beanstack to log your reading and other summer activities, and check out all of the programs on our calendar. Summer reading events at the library are sponsored by the Friends of the Marlborough Public Library. Summer reading runs from the 23rd to August 23rd. Prize winners will be announced in early September. Sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date on all of our summer fun. Have you ever been to a museum and been like, I wish there was more poop in here?
No.
I have. Monday the 30th, the Poop Museum is coming to the library. This is a children's program, so bring your little ones in the afternoon from 2 to 3 and come learn from Susie McGuire, poop expert, as she teaches you all about poop. This month, the Adult Book Club will be meeting on Tuesday the 10th at 6 and Thursday the 12th at 11 to discuss the very popular James by Percival Everett, a reimagining of the adventures of Huckleberry Finn from Jim's perspective. The High Strangeness Book Club will be meeting on Wednesday the 25th at 6:30 to discuss Bunny by Moda Awad. The book centers on a college student who joins a clique called the Bunnies, but once joining, she finds that they hold a trove of dark secrets. This is a brand new adult book club called Undiscovered Realms that is perfect for lovers of sci-fi, fantasy, and speculative fiction. The first meeting will take place on Wednesday the 4th at 6:30, and they will be discussing This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Motar and Max Gladstone, a sci-fi puzzle box of a love story. Since this club takes place so early in the month, we thought it would also be best to tell you the book for next month in case you are interested, but viewing this after the first meeting. Next book will be Pure Nessie by Susanna Clark. Dewey Decimators will be meeting on Thursday the 26th at 5:30 to discuss The Crims by Kate Davies. It's a very special month this June. It is Accordion Month. So the accordion was made in 1608 by Mr. Clarinet. People think that it was actually Mr. Accordion, but it was kind of a joke played on Mr. Clarinet to be called the accordion because he didn't like it. So that was kind of the general history. And then I found this one in an alleyway, and I picked it up, and there was a little ghost boy in it. And he said that I had to learn how to play the accordion or he would steal my soul. So I'm currently... June is LGBTQIA+ Pride Month. Most historians agree that the modern Pride movement has its genesis in the 1969 Stonewall riots, sometimes referred to as the Stonewall Uprising. It's an important part of both queer and American history. As individuals, we are all bestowed the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But sometimes society at large needs a reminder. A little background. Liquor licenses came into use during the 1930s after Prohibition ended. Each state has its own department to approve these licenses, and suffice to say, most bars that cater to an LGBTQ+ crowd were not given approval to serve alcohol. As we know from Prohibition, this doesn't stop the selling of alcohol, it just makes it shadier, which led to the mob owning most of the gay bars in New York City, including the Stonewall Inn. Sometimes the mob would rebrand gay bars as bottle clubs, which didn't need a license to sell liquor because they were exclusive. Some gay bars would just feign exclusivity, however. In addition, the mob had a relationship with the NYPD. They were able to bribe the police to stop raiding their businesses, or at least give a heads up that they would, and they would. A lot. In the early morning hours of June 28, 1969, A police raid did in fact happen at Stonewall, and no one was tipped off. Normal raid process was to have patrons at the bar line up and show identification. Female officers would then take people who were woman presenting to the bathroom to check their sexes, and if any were trans women or drag queens, they would be arrested. Conversely, cis women needed to be wearing at least 3 articles of feminine clothing, or they would too be arrested. Tensions continued to rise when police were seen groping some of the women who were being led out of the bar. By this point, a crowd had gathered. There was a lot of shouting and pushing, but nothing really broke until a handcuffed woman complained their cuffs were too tight and was hit in the head with a baton by an officer. She looked at the crowd and asked why no one was doing anything. This incited crowd response, leading to them fighting back. While there are some conflicting reports, the general consensus is that the woman was biracial lesbian and gay civil rights activist Storm DeLarverie, who we will get back to later. The demonstrations and violence continued until around 4 a.m., and then started again the following night until around the same time. The rebellion lasted about 6 days, and while people were injured, no one was killed, and it was less than a week, it did spark a movement that is still going to this day. From my research, it seems that Storm DeLarverie, who actually died a little over a year ago, was androgynous and fluid in his gender. Mostly presenting as masculine, Storm had also referred to themselves as a woman, as well as just saying that they identified as me. She said that she prefers whichever pronouns make you feel the most comfortable, and one of his friends believed him to have been non-binary. Regardless, Storm, along with people like Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, Christine Jorgensen, and William Dorsey Swann, who was actually a former slave who started hosting drag balls in the 1880s, were activists who didn't fit into the gender binary and fought for others who were in similar positions. While the term transgender wasn't widely used when these individuals were alive, it does at least acknowledge gender as a part of queer identity. I bring this up because trans people are being erased from history. It's just factually inaccurate to not include this large group when talking about queer activism. The word transgender has been removed from all federal government websites, as well as the T being taken out of LGBT. This is the active changing of history. Libraries champion learning and knowledge. We have books and media from all different viewpoints and opinions, and we make it accessible. We don't ignore or hide history or different walks of life, whatever they may be. And it's sad to see it being done in real time. But queer history does not have to be all sad and serious. So let's talk about camp. The Poop Museum! What is camp? The use of the term camp as an aesthetic descriptor can be traced all the way back to the 1600s, but the first text written on it was Susan Sontag's 1969 essay, Notes on Camp, in which she lays out 58 observations in an attempt to define camp as an aesthetic sensibility. While camp can be elusive and often can be mistaken for kitsch, according to Sontag, it is primarily a way of seeing that revels in artifice, exaggeration, and stylization. It values style over substance, celebrating things that are so bad they're good, and embraces a playful irony towards failed seriousness or over-the-top theatricality. It often operates through both irony and sincerity. Camp is also closely tied to queer culture, especially gay male communities, which have historically embraced it as a mode of identity subversion, as well as a tool for survival. Sontag distinguishes 2 types of camp, naive and deliberate, and she favors the former for its unintentional charm. Camp itself arose in the wake of modernity and global capitalism, where sincerity had become exhausted. It seeks to re-enchant the world through excess and performativity. In Notes, Sontag claims that camp is apolitical, but in the decades that have passed since the publication of the work, camp has increasingly become seen as a form of resistance and cultural critique. It often involves gender play, androgyny, and exaggerated identity, making it central to the discussion of drag performance and queerness. Camp's role in queer media often plays a vital function. Take the 1990 film But I'm a Cheerleader as an example. Main character Megan is a high school cheerleader who is sent to a conversion camp to cure her lesbianism. She arrives at the camp, where she is then forced into close proximity with other queer people her age. The camp itself is run by the exaggerated villain Kathy with help from none other than RuPaul herself. The movie embodies camp so well in the way it mixes sincerity and irony, as well as its hyper-exaggerated style. Entire sets of the film are constructed of Barbie pink, baby blue, or green monocolored designs. There's an underlying cheekiness pervading the film, giving the audience a knowing wink. Because I need to live my life, or else I will be stuck in my own body, watching it be phantom piloted by a small boy who died before child labor laws existed. Camp in queer media, of course, includes its presence in literature. This month, the library staff have provided a wide selection of queer books or books by queer authors. If any of these stand out to you, they will be on display and available to check out on the staff selection shelf near the welcome desk. This is a long list, and our librarians certainly had many more books to add. If you need further help finding queer books at the library, just ask any of the staff who are all eager to help you find what you're looking for. First book is Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. It's a retelling of the Iliad, focused through the lens of the romantic relationship between Achilles and Patroclus. This book is epic, lyrical, deeply intimate, and utterly devastating. It is a modern queer classic for a reason. Our next book is The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. It's a work of experimental fantasy with many twists and turns, but at its core is a love story between two broken and violent men. Spanning 5 days, June and Kima are tasked with carrying a dead god across a shattered land whilst avoiding the tyrannical forces trying to intercept them. Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Mariko Tamaki and Rosemary Valero O'Connell is a graphic novel with a raw and honest depiction of both the healthy and the unhealthy aspects of relationships. Queer relationships, like all other relationships and friendships in life, have the potential to be toxic, abusive, or to suffer from power imbalances. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry is a cozy fantasy novel about an orc named Viv who is retired from her past life as a bounty hunter to open a coffee shop. It is a wholesome story that centers deep friendships and queer love between women as a meaningful way to replace a life of swords and killing. House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune follows Linus Baker, a quiet caseworker who inspects magical orphanages as he's sent on a secret mission to evaluate a mysterious island home filled with powerful and unusual children. Soon he begins to question the rules that he's lived by. Boulder by Eva Baltazar is a poetic work of fiction that follows a woman, nicknamed Boulder, who is working on a merchant ship. She falls in love with Samsa, a woman who wants to have a child and move to Reykjavik. Boulder is initially hestant to settle down, but accompanies Samsa to Iceland, but their lives become altered when Samsa becomes pregnant. Is Love the Answer by Uta Izaki is a standalone coming-of-age manga centered around the character named Chika, exploring what love and sex mean for her. After being introduced to the terms aromantic and asexual, she begins to learn more about herself and those around her. Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Sinan McGuire is the second in the Wayward Children series. It is a dark fairy tale about twin sisters Jack and Jill who escape their rigid upbringing by entering into a world ruled by a vampire and mad scientist, and quickly their choices set them on the path of tragic transformation. The Guncle by Stephen Rowley tells the story of Patrick, a gay former sitcom star who finds himself unexpectedly thrust into the role of caretaker for his niece and nephew after their mother's death and his brother's addiction-related rehab. Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle is a horror novel about a devout young woman named Rose who begins experiencing terrifying supernatural events that clue her into the truth about a conversion therapy camp in her town. Carry On by Rainbow Rowell is a fantasy romance that follows Simon as the chosen one while navigating his final year at magical school and his complicated relationship with his vampire roommate, Baz. What starts as a story of destiny evolves into one of love, self-discovery, and rewriting one's narrative. Lavender House by Lev A.C. Rosen is a noir murder mystery set in 1950s San Francisco, where disgraced detective Evander Mills is hired to investigate a suspicious death at a secluded estate that serves as a safe house for a queer found family. We are now taking questions from callers. Hello!
Hi, I noticed that everyone is starting a book club these days. I want to start my own club too. Can the library help with that?
Actually, we have a brand new book club shelf right next to staff selections on the first floor near the welcome desk. We have multiple copies of popular book club titles that you are free to come and check out multiple or all the copies of. Thank you for your question. Beep. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the library. There we go. That's a chord.